Hi everyone, this is Heather. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I've got a card tutorial for you for this fun Halloween scene card. I'm going to be using two new stamp sets with their coordinating dies from the brand new Stampin' Up! Holiday catalog. So the sets and dies I'm going to be using is the Cauldron Bubble set. And this is probably my favorite stamp set in the catalog. I love Halloween and witches and anything to do with that, so I loved this set. So there is an adorable witch. She's got a cauldron. There's a large witch's hat. There's a cute little toad. There's a broomstick, an adorable cat. I just love that cat. A ghost and some stars. Lots of great sentiments. I love the bubble, bubble, toil, and treble. Really cute. And then there's also a coordinating die set. And then I'm also actually using one of the Christmas sets. As always, I apologize for my overhead lighting. And this is Farmhouse Christmas. And this has got a really great truck with a tree. There's a really great farmhouse with like a tree that doesn't have any leaves. Then there's some accessories that you can add, wreath, little smoke coming from the chimney, and some little lights. There's snow and some great sentiments. So I wanted to use the tree. I thought that that worked really well with this. I'm using the tree from Farmhouse Christmas. And then I'm also just using the die that goes along with the tree from the coordinating die set. So you're gonna need some white, green, and purple cardstock, and the green and purple cardstock that I'm using is from the Toil and Trouble cardstock pack. And so the green base is just an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock cut, scored, and folded in half. And then the purple is cut to 4 by 5 1/4. Then I just need about a half a sheet of white cardstock for stamping and die cutting, and then also a sheet of watercolor paper, and I have cut this to 3 3/4 by 5. So I'm going to use a scratched piece of paper to do my background with. So I'm working on the watercolor paper and just have a piece of scratch paper just to protect my surface, and I'm going to be doing this with watercolors. This is just a set from Prang. You can find these at most craft stores. It's a fairly inexpensive, and it's just kind of a good basic starter set of watercolors. And it does come with, or at least this one did come with, a brush. I think this is a number 9. Yeah, so this is just a number 9 paintbrush. And I'm going to start out, I'm kind of doing a sort of one of those trendy galaxy backgrounds, and I'm going to be using the watercolors as well as some of the frost white ink that is also in the new holiday catalog. So I've got a glass of water. You could use an aqua brush for this, but I personally just prefer the paintbrush. So I've just got a little cup of water here. So if you can get everything in the camera. And I'm just getting my paintbrush wet, and I'm going to start out with the blue violet color, and I'm just picking some of that up, and I've got a good amount of water on my brush, and I'm just gonna swirl around and just pick up a little bit more water. Sorry, I hope you can see that in the camera. Pick up a little bit more water, go back to that purple color, and just loose and easy. Don't make it complicated. Just kind of spread some of that color around. I go back to my water. I'm going to clean that brush off a little bit. I'm going to pick up a little bit of blue. Same thing, just good amount of water. And then just kind of fill in those spaces. I don't want to overlap my colors too much. I still want to be able to see that one is blue and one is purple. Don't want to muddy it up too much. A little bit more water. And you do want to overlap them a little bit, but I wouldn't, completely cover. So just kind of fill in some of those spots. So we just have a nice big splotchy scene there. I'm going to clean my brush off. And now I'm going to go in with some black. Just going to pick some of that black up and kind of go over top. And same thing, just in some kind of splotchy sections, but you still want that blue and purple to kind of show through a bit in places. Got a lot of paint there. That's okay. We can fix that. So what you can do in between, if you have too much color, is just to pat it with a paper towel, and it'll pick up a lot of that excess if the color just gets too dark for you, if you've picked up too much paint. So just gonna kind of go over here and there, real messy, real loose, real easy. Kind of go over all that with the black, and then I'm gonna kind of pat it down again with the paper towel. And then just keep adding a little bit more blue, a little bit purple. So just kind of layering, those colors up. And I'm pretty happy with the way that looks. So now that I am done with the paint, I want to bring over my frost white ink, and you want to make sure that you're shaking the bottle really well. There's a ball inside there, so just kind of make sure that you've shaken it up really well. And you definitely want to have a scratch piece of paper for this. And so I have also die cut a small circle. So from the smallest stitched shape circle dies, I have gone ahead and die cut a circle from white cardstock, and take a paintbrush. And this is an older brush. It's kind of messy, but it's sort of good for this technique. So I'm just gonna pick up some of the paint on the brush. I'm gonna take my finger and just start tapping it, so I get these great splatter marks all over my background. You can see how that's kind of splattering out. So I'm just going to keep splattering. So now that I'm happy with the way that my splatter looks, I'm going to take my brush and pick up a little bit more of the paint, and I'm just going to paint this circle that I've die cut with the frost white. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Try not to get your finger in it too much, but that will add like a really pretty sheen to it. So you could let this air dry, or if you want to hurry it up a little bit, you can use your embossing gun on a low setting, which is what I'm going to do. So I've used my heat tool to dry this paint. Hope you can kind of see the shimmer and shine on that. If it curls up a little bit while you're working on something else, you might want to set it maybe under a heavy book so that you can flatten it out. And now we're going to do some stamping and some coloring. So I've gone ahead and stamped out on some white cardstock using black memento ink. I have stamped out the witch and her broom, and also the tree from the Farmhouse set, and the little cat. And I'm going to be coloring with Stampin' Blends markers, and that's why I use Memento black ink. So I'm using dark and light smoky slate gray. I'm using light and dark soft suede, dark Highland heather, dark pink pirouette, light and dark old olive, and dark daffodil. So I wanted my little witch to be a green witch. I thought that would be just kind of fun and different. So instead of a traditional skin color, I'm going to do her in a green. You could obviously pick, whatever skin tone you would like to color her in. So I'm starting off with the lighter green, and I'm avoiding her eyes and her lips. And then I'm going to take the darker green and give her just a little bit of shading and shadowing just under the brim of the hat, a little bit maybe around the side of her face, and then go back in with a lighter color and kind of blend those together. Again, sort of avoiding her lips and her eyes. And then I'm going to take the lighter green and color in the little skirt section of her dress, the kind of little apron, I guess. So I've avoided those little stars and moon on her little apron, and I'm going to add just a little bit of shading and shadow with the darker green. Blend those two together. I'm going to take the lighter green, and on every other stripe on her stockings, I'm going to color those in with the green. So now I'm going to move on to the gray. So I'm going to take the lighter gray and I'm going to color in her hat except for the brim. Her cloak. Now I'm going to color her shoes with the lighter gray. And then I'm also going to go over and color the kitty cat, kind of avoid the inside of his ears and his eyes and nose if I can. He's kind of teeny. And now I'm going to take the dark gray and again just add a little bit of shading and shadowing on everything that I've already colored in the light gray. So I've just added some touches with the darker gray, and now I'm going to go in with the lighter gray and kind of blend those in together. So I've blended out all my grays, and I'm going to grab the dark pink. And I'm going to give her some lips and some cheeks. Now, because I'm putting kind of a lighter color over a darker color, instead of moving the pen nib back and forth, I just want to touch it down and kind of tap that color on. For me, it kind of keeps it less muddy and you get a better coloration. I hope you can see that. And then on the kitty cat, I'm going to do the inside of his ears. And same thing on his nose. So now I'm ready to move on to the purple, and I'm using dark Highland Heather, and I'm just coloring in her dress. And then I'm also going to do every other stripe on her tights with the purple as well. And now moving on to the yellow, I'm going to do the cuffs of her dress, the waistband, the little stars and moon, and also the brim of her hat. And then I'm going to add a few little streaks in her hair, not completely covering it in. And then I'm going to do the same on the broom. Just add a few little light streaks there. And now moving on to the soft suede. So I'm taking the lighter soft suede and I'm going to add some more streaks to her hair color in the same way. So you just want some of that yellow to still sort of show through. It just gives her kind of a nice two-tone hair. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the broom. And I'm also going to take the brown and completely color in my spooky tree. So now I'm going in with the darker brown and I'm going to color the handle of my broom and the little band on it. And then I'm going to add again just a little bit of shading and shadowing on the tree. And then on the tree I'm going to go in and just blend those in together. Blend those two browns. So now I am done with all of my coloring and I'm going to die cut. So I'm just going to take some repositionable tape, just a low tack tape, washi tape, painter's tape, and I'm just going to line up the dies and tape them in place so that they don't shift while I'm die cutting. So I have carefully removed the tape from all my die cut pieces, and make sure on the tree that you poke out all the little openings. And then in addition to the images, I have also taken another sheet of the same green, and I have die cut the largest stitched shape oval die from Stampin' Up, and I have just cut it about in half. One piece is a little larger than the other in my paper trimmer. And then I've also taken a piece of gray cardstock, and I have die cut the fence from the Farmhouse dies. So this is a very detailed die with lots of little pieces inside, so I really recommend, if you don't have this die tool, to pick it up. It is really great for intricate dies, for popping out all those little pieces. So it comes with the foam pad and the roller, and you just roll it over the top and it punches out all those little pieces. So my die is come out of the die, and so you can see how nice and intricate that is. I absolutely love this tool. I think it's perfect for really detailed dies. So now I'm ready to start building my scene. So I've got my piece of watercolor paper. I'm going to take my 2 little pieces of oval and add some adhesive across the bottom. I'm going to kind of line that up with the edge of my background. I'm going to have it overlap, overhanging the edge just a little bit. Same thing with the other one. And so now I have like a nice little hill. I'm going to add some adhesive to the back of the moon that I painted with the frost white paint. And I'm going to have it hang off just a little bit off of the top, like that. And I'm just going to turn this over and take my scissors and just trim off the excess. Now I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive to the back of my tree. And I'm going to slip that just a little bit down underneath that hill. And now I want to adhere the fence. So I'm going to bring my scrap piece of paper back over. And I'm using a glue pen, but you could use like a glue stick or any type of liquid adhesive, because again, this is a very detailed die with small little sections, so just add as much glue as you can. And now I'm just going to lay this across the front of my card. I'm lining it up with the right hand edge of my scene, and it's up just a little bit. So now I want to adhere my little witch, and I've put some foam tape on the back. So I'm just going to place her on the left hand side of my card. And then I've also got foam tape on the back of the cat. And I'm put him on the top of the fence so he's looking up at her. And then I've also added foam tape to the back of my broom. And I have just cut a really thin sliver with my scissors of the foam tape so that I can have some stability behind that broom. So I'm going to kind of tuck the handle behind her hat a little bit and then have it going over like she's holding the broom in her hand. So now I'm ready to adhere my scene onto my purple cardstock. And I have added a generous amount on the back of the watercolor paper just to keep it from curling up. Then I'm going to center that on my purple. I'm going to add some adhesive to the back of that. And now I'm going to adhere that to the green cardstock base. And here is our finished card. Isn't it cute? I hope you can see like the shimmer and the shine that frost white ink adds to it. I really enjoyed mixing together a couple of stamp sets and having, using the tree and the fence from the Farmhouse set with this cute Halloween set. I just think this Halloween set is absolutely adorable. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, please check out my channel. I've got lots of other card tutorials and product reviews for you, and I hope you have a wonderful witchy day. This is Heather. Bye.